Hey everybody, welcome back to the Slate Lace podcast. We got a bit of a different look here today, so bear with us.
Yeah,
But we're
much
still going to
different.
be bringing you some content today. So today is another film episode. But first, Blair, how you doing?
Shoot, I'm good. Things are different, but I can't complain. I'm ready to actually get into it. I think it's a little bit of a surprise for you today.
Okay, really interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today we are talking Jingle Jangle, the new Christmas movie that was on Netflix. Um, It is a musical, which I didn't know, but we'll get into that in a
Mm-hmm.
bit. And then we're going to talk one classic like we always do. And that classic is going to be Home Alone. Um,
Dang.
yeah, the original Home Alone. So first, let's get into Jingle Jangle. Initial thoughts. By the way, it is starring Felicia Rashad, Forrest Whitaker,
Mm-hmm.
Michael Key.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got a good cast and a couple
Mm-hmm.
new faces as well. Blair,
Mm-hmm.
initial thoughts going into it.
I thought it was gonna be weak. I thought um I was a little on the fence about it, but we had a couple requests, so I was like, dang, like, let's go ahead and do this thing. But I'm not the biggest musical person. Outside of Singing in the Rain, I really don't care too much for musicals. Um, yeah, I was just, that was kind of my biggest thing. It's like, I'm like, dang, we couldn't find something else to watch. Like,
Yep.
that was pretty much how I was
So
feeling.
yeah, for
Initial
my
thoughts.
yeah, initially I was on the same boat. Wasn't excited to see it. You know, musical is
Hmm.
definitely not my thing. Not
Yeah.
anywhere in the realm of what I would watch. But at first I didn't know it was a musical, so I was like, okay, this might be cool.
Yeah.
But then as you dig a little deeper, you see that
Yeah.
musical, and you're like, ooh, that's just so off base from what I typically watch.
So,
But you know, again, we were here to review films and not be picky and only cater to our tastes. So
right.
I was like, all right, let's check it
Yeah,
out.
so we got to go ahead and do it, right?
Yeah, we had to go ahead and do it. And yeah, so initial thoughts, just wasn't that excited. And I hadn't even seen the trailer. Had you seen the trailer?
That's what I was gonna say. So I hadn't seen the trailer. I didn't even I didn't know really anything about it. One of my friends was watching the movie and texted me and was like, "You got to review it."
Oh, really?
And and I was like, "Dang, interesting," because I got, we had other people besides my friend telling me to do it. So, yeah, but had not seen the trailer.
Yeah, me neither. I don't even. Yeah, was there promotion for this? I don't even remember there being like promo for this movie. But
I don't know, but the way Netflix does things is they just drop the movie
things just
and
pop
then
up, and you're like, oh,
and
okay.
it, yeah, because especially with it not being in theaters and your typical promotion,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. All right, well, let's get into the review. Jingle Jangle. Tell me where this film succeeded for you.
Uh, it sends you through a wave of emotions.
Okay.
Uh, um,
A little heartfelt for you?
I think you find yourself. It is heartfelt. It also kind of makes you fall in love with the characters. You find yourself rooting for people. Um, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's overall it's I'd say it was fairly successful in a lot of those factors, right? Like it has your hero's journey down pat, like it's like that. I do think um I think that like the kids are super likable. That's probably like my biggest part. Like the um it's that and Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker, obviously, he brings it home. I mean, he's a legend, and it's kind of surprising to see him in this type of capacity in this realm. I would have never expected him to be in like a musical, but he was a nice addition, nice touch. So, I mean, all of these things kind of made it super successful to me.
Yeah, for me, where it succeeded, probably just the plot, the storyline. Definitely heartfelt. So I think the writers did a good job with creating a Christmas movie that brings everything you want, which is something that's going to make you feel good, something that's going to make you feel warm, a nice family movie. So they definitely did that with this film. The cast was cool
Yeah.
as well. I wasn't so much a fan as with the kids like you were. But I liked Keegan Michael Key's character. I like Forrest Whitaker's character. The kids were like a little bit whatever to me. But
Oh
the
boy.
majority of the cast was
I knew you was
cool.
gonna like Keegan's character,
Yeah,
without a
he was
doubt.
cool. Felicia Rashad's character was cool, reading the little stories. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I liked the overall storyline. It was cool. It was predictable. I mean, I feel like I knew belief was going to be the whole thing, because I mean, we can go look at literally every Christmas movie, and I think belief is like the thing they preach the most. I mean, even that's in Jack Frost, which is another classic one we gotta talk about too. But I mean, that's in like the Christmas movie. What is it? Santa Claus with
Mm-hmm.
Tim Allen is all about belief and stuff too. So it was kind of predictable on that front. But again, it was a good story. It was heartfelt. I feel like it did its job. Again, I can't complain when it just entertains me. Like, that's what I asked all the movies to do, is just simply entertain me, and that's what they did. So that was cool. Let's segue though into where it missed for you. Where did it fail?
Okay. Elf also had the Believe-O-meter as well. So you're right. So many movies had it.
Yeah.
So that is where, like, for me, I would say it was in the failing aspect is just that obviously outside of like, it being interesting and things like that, it was just a regular Christmas, run-of-the-mill Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you were getting It's a Wonderful Life, where it's like this brand new classic. I don't think it's going to be a Christmas classic that we're watching 30 years down the line, even if it's a good film. And there's a lot of films that are like that, where, it can be good or it is good, but it doesn't mean that it has what it takes to be a classic. Belief was, again, yeah, it was super predictable. That was actually where I was going to say that it didn't succeed for me, with you mentioning that. Not that it like tore the movie down and didn't make the movie work, but in the sense of like it made it a little bit corny, it made it cheesy, the way the characters acted were a little bit cheesy, a little bit corny. Just like sort of the setting and the magical of the flying, you were just like, oh yeah, this is full on fantasy. But at the same time, I'm not gonna knock it too much, because I'm like a grown adult, and I gotta understand that it's specific genres and it's for specific people. Like his target audience when he made this wasn't necessarily for like a grown man, but maybe for a grown man that has kids. you know like you're gonna sit down with a family and you're gonna check this movie out. So like with that, like I have to keep that in mind when I like when I say like the weaknesses and things like that. um One of the other things that I was gonna say is that sort of like everything they had to go through also wasn't quite like strong enough. It was strong in the sense of like in the beginning when like he lost it all.
Yeah.
That was big, and I think
Yeah,
that
that was
that was
probably
on
like
to
one of the most
something.
entertaining parts of the movie.
Exactly. And so if he kind of had like this roller coaster, which I didn't feel like he had enough of a roller coaster of, um, then it would have been like, it would have kind of propelled the movie over. But since it wasn't that strong, that was kind of one of the weak points for me as well.
Yeah. For me, where it failed, um, the overall musicalness of it all. for me. I just don't like musicals, so it's gonna be hard for me to get past that. You guys knew I was gonna knock it, so it is what it is. That was not my favorite part. Although one song was kind of hitting though.
The second one.
Yeah, the one that they played it again at the credits.
Oh, I wasn't.
Now that was the one.
Nah,
They
I was thinking of the male lady.
Nah,
The
hers was not hitting. Her song was not hitting.
second song, she was like the second song they sang. Remember when she was like trying to seduce Forrest Whitaker?
Yeah, no, I didn't like that one. If you guys are gonna go musical, you need to be like The Wiz. I'm sorry, just to say it. You got to have those kind of hits. I see that what John Legend was a producer and like contributed to a couple of these songs. Come on, John, you gotta do better. But yeah, there was one song that I'll give them. I'll look it up and let you guys know on the back end. But yeah, that one was hitting. Other than that, wasn't feeling it. What else? Like I mentioned, touched on before, the kids. The kids were not doing it for me. It was a little bit of corny acting. I didn't really appreciate that. And then other than that, I don't really want to knock them on the storyline again, but the storyline was just a little bit predictable. But you can't blame them too much because, of course, it's a Christmas movie, and we know what we get with that. So. Yeah, so that's basically where it missed for me. It was just kind of the kids as characters, a little corny. I don't want to crack the overall storyline because, I mean, it's a Christmas movie, but that didn't help. And then, yeah, just it being a musical. Not my type of thing. But again, there was one song that hit, and I kind of want to find that out. But yeah,
add it to the playlist.
Yeah, we'll add it to that playlist. But other than that, let's go ahead and rate it. So this did surprisingly well on Rotten Tomatoes. They gave it a 90%. Is that shocking? Like, I was very shocked.
Initially, I would be shocked. Yes, but I mean, I guess people are in the holiday spirit and things like that. I don't know. The music didn't really hit like that to me. But maybe it's just the storyline that kind of really just, I don't know.
Yeah, that was crazy.
High percentage rating.
That was wild. Wasn't expecting that. 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. And then IMDb gave it a 6.5 out of 10. So that's a little bit better and a little bit more fair, I think.
Okay.
But let's get into our slate rate. The reason why we're all here. Again, our scale is based on originality, entertainment value. Blair, entertainment 1 to 5.
I'll give it a 4 as far as entertainment goes.
Okay, I'm gonna leave.
That
was a 4. That was a 4.
You're not entertained.
The audacity of that rating is just out of control. Wow.
I thought it was
You're losing some credibility here. All right. Well, looking like this might be a 9 out of 10. You and all right, no?
I'm dead.
All right, go ahead and go 1 to 5 on originality.
Nah, as far as originality goes, it's not that high. I honestly would say, as far as originality goes, it's like a 2 or 3.
You want to do 2.5?
Yeah, I'll do 2.5.
All right, you got it at 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
All right, so you're right there with IMDb with the people.
Yeah, I would say so. Honestly, I think the movie was pretty good. I think the movie was pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised when I watched the movie. I thought, like I said earlier in the show, I thought the movie was gonna suck, And that's what I was telling you, right? Where I said I kind of have a surprise for you. I kind of thought the movie,
We're surprised.
I thought the movie was kind of good. Like, obviously, it was corny and cheesy in moments where it was expected to be. And I wasn't like overly surprised necessarily with like how the plot and everything played out. But honestly, it was a pretty good film. It was decent. Like, as far as Netflix films and stuff go, it's one of the better like Netflix originals. Not just like films that are on Netflix and things like that, right? Like, of the Netflix original films that I've sat here and watched, most of them are a little bit on the weak side, and this was surprisingly not that weak.
Yeah. Disclaimer before I give mine, Blair's, it's not like, you're correct, and it wasn't horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just all right. But I
Right.
can't give it a 4. So 1 to 5 on entertainment. I'm really trying to think. Like,
I mean, did you pause the movie? Did you have to look at the clock? I mean, I never did any of those things.
Nah, I guess not. I'm gonna go 2.5 originality, or I'm sorry, 2.5 on entertainment.
As far
That
as
might be a little harsh. Might be a little harsh, but I'm gonna stick with
yeah,
it.
because
Uh,
you already know that the film's not original.
and then the originality, yeah, I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
not. It's something that we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Although the toy making aspect is new, so that's cool. And the fact that, they're inventors and stuff, and all the magicalness. I guess we kind of seen that, like, a little
Yeah,
bit. Polar
I was
Express.
trying to think.
I don't know.
I was like, I can't remember what they do in Richie Rich, because wasn't that a Christmas movie too?
Yeah, but I don't think that was magic. More, was it?
Mm.
Well, they had like inventor stuff. Yeah, they did have inventor
Right, that's what I
in
thought.
Richie Rich.
But I don't know. It's been
Uh,
such a long
that's a
time.
good
But
one
yeah.
though. So I'm not gonna. I'll rate him a little higher. I'll go. What'd you give him on originality? You gave him a two and
I
a half.
gave him. I gave him 2.5.
I'm gonna give him a 3 on originality because
Okay.
there's some aspects that are new. There's some aspects that are new.
Yeah.
Just the whole belief system and the overall idea is not original, but they have some little things in there. So I'll give them a 3. So I'm gonna go. What, I have a 5.5 out of 10, and I think that's fair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, 5 out of 10 is basically where the IMDb peoples are at.
Yep. I don't know what Rotten Tomatoes was on.
I told you it's the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, they caught it all right.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, guys, it's a 5 out of 10, 5.5, and a 6.5 out of 10. Check it out if you guys want to.
I say definitely check it out.
Yeah, Blair's saying check it out. You're not going to be bored. You're not going to be bored.
Correct.
We come on here and give some pretty harsh ratings. They were well deserved. This one, you'll be all right. You'll
Yes, I wanna say that if you've gone through all your Christmas classics already, and Christmas is coming up, which it is in a couple days, and you need something to watch, this would be the one that you put on, right?
Okay.
Give you something new to check out. That's really all it is.
Do it. Let's segue into our last little discussion here, and let's talk Home Alone. We're talking the original, the 1990. Yes. Some of us were not even here yet. Film, the film that introduced us to Macaulay Culkin. It is Home Alone. Mm-hmm. This is a movie we've seen too many times to count.
Yeah, I've already seen it probably like 3 times in this holiday season.
Yeah, we can quote it. We've laughed. I remember there was times when we were just straight rolling at Home Alone, and just like the prank.
Could not breathe. Could not breathe. Yeah.
Literally dying. Just at these burglars trying to get this little kid. But literally, I feel like this movie shaped Christmas movies. It was such like a unique perspective. I don't even know what these writers were on when they wrote this, but I mean, obviously that originality is going to be off the charts because it is the first of its kind.
Correct.
But let's get into where that film succeeded for you.
Oh man, I mean, straight up entertainment. It was definitely like from beginning to end, you loving it. And then I think that they do a really good job of making Kevin likable.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, right, you're watching it,
Not supposed to like.
and like the way they set it up, right, is like you're literally seeing like this family that is always upset with him, and they're making it seem like he's the bad guy, but like we're watching it from his point of view, and we're like, yo, the family is tripping.
Yeah.
Like Kevin is really not that bad,
Yeah.
like it's really Buzz that's like getting in on him, and that,
The
and
bum.
so yeah, exactly. And so from that moment on, it's like no matter what Kevin goes through, you got Kevin's back.
Yeah.
And so that was very strong. And then I think that like just watching him like in the like kind of just have to deal everything like on his own
Yeah.
was extremely strong as well, right? Because it's like you got to picture, right? Like being like 10 years old and you're home alone and you got to protect the house,
Yeah.
right? Like that's tough. That's not something that's easy to do, you know. Obviously, as like far as like how real it can be, maybe it's not that real, but I mean it's super strong, and that's kind of what makes it super enjoyable as well. And then like it another thing that it does is it makes me reminisce, and I think that's one of the strong points as well, is that like when you're watching, you're most likely watching it first as a kid, and being that kid, you wanted to be home alone, right? You wanted to be able to order that giant box of pizza and
Mm-hmm.
like do all, and
Heck yeah.
so yeah, that was another strong point.
Yeah. Same for me. Just the endless laughs. Literally, I say every time if
Yeah,
you can make me laugh, I'm gonna love the movie. This
yeah,
definitely does that. So it's just straight up
yeah.
entertaining. You're laughing from beginning to end, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And then it almost makes you forget like the real unrealistic aspect of the movie, because obviously, like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're home alone at 10 and two people are coming to your door trying to kidnap, like, you're getting kidnapped. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, for sure you
but
are.
because this movie is so well written, it's well cast, it's
Mm-hmm.
hilarious. You don't even think twice about that. You're like, no, this kid's
Yeah.
gonna defend the house. Like, let's crap.
Like that's what
Like,
he's right. Like that's what he's supposed to
yep.
do. Yeah.
So I mean, it's just a really well written, well told story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, that's where it's successful for me. It's just few movies. I mean, say it again. There's like probably a handful of movies, 10 tops, that I can watch again and again. And this is one of them. Not including TV shows, but yeah,
Okay.
this is one of them.
Okay.
I can't really think of anywhere it may have failed. Blair, you got
Okay.
any of that?
Um. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. If we're just gonna like
Name.
pick it apart and sort of things like that, I would say some of the setup is silly in the sense of like they sit but again, disclaimer, like you got to remember, like you're probably watching this as a kid, and I know this to be true, but some of the setups where it's kind of like, oh, that's the old man that like he has 100 bodies like in the trash can or whatever, right? Like the setup of things like that, where like obviously they're supposed to help you out later and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are some of the weak points. But I remember being young, and there was always rumors about certain people, and I know that to be true, right? Where they'll be like, oh, that was like so and so, and he went and did this and that, right? And it's just always that urban legend. Sandlot, like all of those like kid movies, that's what it is. So I don't want to knock it on that, but for me it was like one of the more like weaker points. If we're gonna sit here and like pick at it again, it's kind of stood the test of time. you know I wouldn't sit here and say it's like the greatest movie to ever like exist on this planet or anything like that, but it's just like done
It's
so
the fact
well
that
and been so
yeah, and then that it's one of a kind is, I think, what helps.
exactly.
It's not the
And
greatest,
because
but
yeah,
it's very unique and original.
exactly. So you're like no matter like what has happened, you're gonna kind of like you're gonna let a lot of these little things slide. But as far as the story aspect goes and things like that, like it was I mean, originality, extremely original, but as a story aspect, I think it was just okay. Like watching as an adult, it was just okay.
Yeah, yeah. I can't get anywhere where it may have failed for me. It's just a great movie throughout.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess this the neglectfulness of the parents.
Right. I
I
mean,
don't
that's,
really
but
think
again,
you
that's one of those things where you're like, that's ridiculous. Like you're,
because
as
I
a
don't think
parent,
that
you're, that's
even
not
though there's
supposed to
like
happen.
47 of them trying to get on that flight, I don't think they would have left their kid. I don't know. It's just it seems a little
Mm-mm.
unrealistic.
No, they wouldn't have.
Um, yeah, so maybe something like that. But again, that's really nitpicking and really digging deep. I honestly don't think this movie failed in any way, shape, or form. It's a
But
film.
that's like what I'm saying with the setup of the story and things like
Mhm.
that. These things only happen because of like these like careless errors, but these are careless errors that you don't necessarily make
Yeah, right, right,
as
right,
a parent
right.
because that's their only child. Like everyone else is extended family.
True. Yeah. Well, it spawned several sequels before we get into the rating.
Oof.
Home Alone 2, that's probably
Oof.
where it stopped being good because Home Alone 2, the
Yeah.
fact that they did it again, it's a
I'm
stretch.
surprised you say that. I'm surprised you say
You
that.
know, I like Miss
But
Hess, but we'll get into
I knew you was. I knew you was gonna say that. I knew you was gonna. But yes, yes, exactly.
Look, I'm gonna be
You
real.
watched three. You
Let me get,
watched three heavy.
okay, yeah, hold on. Let me finish up with 2. We're gonna get into 3. 3 is hard. Look, 2 is because look, after the second time, come on now. You left the kid again. It's lost in New York. It's kind of hard to believe that they
Yeah.
lost the kid again, especially out coming off what happened a year ago at the same time. That's weird.
Right.
But they pulled it off again. Again, great writing, funny still, we're still doing the TV guy, you filthy animal, get off my porch, whatever, shoot him down.
Dropping bricks on foreheads.
Yeah, and drop him. Yeah, it's funny. Like, again, they do it
Yeah.
again. Somehow they convince us again that this family is neglectful and forgot their kid, and they do their thing for the second sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, number 3, Blair does not like this one.
Nope. I'm gone.
Um,
Bye.
but
That's it. I'm
literally,
out.
Home Alone 3. Here's where I'm happy with what they did. I'm glad that they switched the characters because it made it seem like a whole new movie. Because if they would have done 3 with Macaulay Culkin, it's like, all right,
I know.
now do we need to call Child Protective Services or something like that? It just wouldn't have been real, So I'm glad they spawned like a whole new
Yeah.
kid. Let's start this thing over, start the
Yeah.
franchise, like kind of like what they do with Paranormal and all that, like just start a whole new franchise, which was great. And number 3 was really good. Blair just mentioned I've watched it. I watched it endlessly growing up.
Yeah.
Number
Yeah.
3 was hitting. I don't know, like it was cool. Miss Hess, Alex, the kid, he was just good. Like the little gadgets they had, he was changing her TV with the little remote. Like it had all those little aspects that were just like really intriguing to me. The remote controls, the fact that the kid was like a little bit annoying and the mom had to stay home with them. Like it had all those elements. The bad guys were cool. Like the casting of like the antagonists were always good. And yeah, it was just great. You didn't like 3?
Three, like me being an adult now is like so weak to me. It's
Nah, I
beyond.
could still probably watch 3 and be dying low key.
Nah,
Miss Hass,
nah,
you don't like Miss Hass, you gotta respect her now. For those of
nah.
you guys
For
that don't
me,
know, and you should know, because you should be watching Home Alone 3, Miss Hess is the little neighbor, and she ends up being an
yeah. For me,
part.
all the only thing good. I mean, really, the only thing good is the parrot.
The parrot, that
Really,
was
that's
a
really
good little
about
touch.
it. And then the
Double or
fact that it.
nothing.
Yep. And the fact that it took us probably almost 20 years to find out that was Scarlett Johansson. That as well.
Literally, hey, it dawned on me, and I was the one that told you, so don't try to
Yeah,
take
you
credit for
did.
that.
No, I didn't. I just said that we found. All I said
I was
was.
literally like, I don't even know. It just hit me. I was like walking one day, and I was like, "Yo, was that Scarlett Johansson?" Like dead. Like I was. It had nothing to do with the movie. I was not watching Home Alone 3. I was not thinking. It was not Christmas time. I was not thinking about that movie. I was literally just like walking home like one day, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, that was Scarlett Johansson." Like, hold on. Looked it up. She's like, "You're a hero, bud." Like that was her. Like for real. It was crazy. So yeah, that might have been like her first little role. I don't know.
I don't know,
But
but yeah.
yeah,
I
so
remember.
3.
I remember when you texted me, and I was like, "Yeah, it was. Yeah."
uh, let's get into the 4 though. The 4 was not it. So there's 2 4.
I tapped out. I tapped out. I wasn't watching
We've
that.
seen 1 though, all together, and I think we saw the
Oh,
one.
that's right.
I'm gonna look it up. Home Alone 4. It was, sorry. Boom, boom. It was Taking Back the House.
Okay.
We saw that one. It was corny.
Okay. And then they did like 5, right? Or something like that.
And then they did another 4. They just called it 4
Okay.
again.
Okay.
And yeah, it's not even worth mentioning. But
All
I think,
all cash grabs by
yeah,
this
exactly.
point.
Just
Anything after 1 was cash grab.
taking the money off the name.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we allowed to. And
Mm-hmm.
the reason why I like 3 is because, again, they dropped Macaulay Culkin. They dropped everybody, Catherine O'Hara,
Mm-hmm.
and went with this new cast. So kind of
Mm-hmm.
refreshed it. But they didn't need you to stop there. They went into 4. I don't know what they were thinking. Those were horrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get back to the original and let's slate rate it. So
Slate
Blair,
rate
what you
it?
got
Okay.
1 to 5 on original or entertainment?
Entertainment? Oh, it was a 5.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
1 to 5 originality.
I'll give it a 4 as far as
4.
originality goes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a 9 out of 10.
That is a 9 out of 10. So it's again on the same level as Jingle All the Way for me.
Yeah. For me,
I give the edge to Home Alone though.
really over Jingle All the Way.
It's just, man. I mean, since
Yeah, I
we
think
was
you got
kids,
to. I think you have to. I think
yeah.
you have to, because it's a classic, and it's before all the way, Jingle All the Way. What I would do 1 to 5 on entertainment. I'm going to 5 as well. It's still a 5, and I can watch it tonight and still be rolling.
Yeah. You still laugh at the same parts, you know.
Yeah. Originality, I don't want to. I think it is the first of its kind, because nobody was doing like a kid hero.
Nah, they really wasn't
type movie in the 90s. I don't think so.
Well, it had to be the first. Not if you mean even if you're just talking about 90s in general, it came out in 90. So
exactly. Other than that, what did we have? What's those movies with
Dr. Dolittle?
Chevy Chase?
Oh yeah. Those but that's not Kids Taking the House.
That's not, and it's not. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other
Christmas Vacation and stuff, and National Lampoon
I was
and all
popping
that.
off. Yeah. But again, it didn't even really pull from that.
Right.
Dang, I'm gonna have to go 5. And I'm gonna go 10 out of 10 then. I didn't really want to give it a 10 out of 10, but I have to, because I'm really trying to think.
You wanted to do 10 out of 10.
I didn't want to do 10 out of 10. And that's surprising, because I usually be trying to give it a rating. But I'm trying to think, like, it is the original. Like, it's the first of its kind, and it was funny. So I got it at 10 out of 10, and Blair's got it at the 9 out of 10. Check it out if you haven't already. And if you follow us, you probably have, because you probably have the same taste as us. So
hang on. What was you trying to give it?
At least a 9.
You see?
But I was going to go 4.5 on originality. But I think it deserves a 5.
Okay. When I was going over Jingle Jangle, I was thinking I was going to give it like a 7. So it's funny you say that too. But then I had to rest on it.
That was not.
I had to rest on it. No, I had to rest on it. It's the same thing with like what you're doing right now at Home Alone. Like I had to sleep on it a little bit.
A 7, wow. Blair, you was really
that was not my point. It wasn't to shock you. It was just to be like,
we're shocked.
I was trying to say.
Yeah. Anyways, guys. Yeah, thanks for hanging in there with us. We are going to do a couple more movies. I know we're coming up to that holiday real quick, but we might double up on these and try to get a couple more in, because I think this is a cool idea. And then we had a couple requests, right, Blair? Of some Christmas movies. So we might watch those and then throw those up either on the Instagram page, maybe quick review them, or do another episode. But on that note, Blair, anything in closing?
Nah, I'm just still kind of shocked. Again, not the best movie I ever seen. It was just fine. It was fine, but
I'm definitely shocked too.
For me, it's like every movie that we keep getting really is like a dud.
Yeah, when are we gonna get something lit? Like,
right. So I'm just like, man, like, okay, this one wasn't that bad. Like, honestly, I can't go, it was the best of the duds, but like, it, wasn't that bad.
I'm trying to think about the best. I'm still going Holiday as the best of the duds for me.
Nah, you tripping.
Jingle Jangle was the best of the duds then? of what we've seen.
Nah,
Rebecca?
because there was I'm thinking of any things of that's been in the
Oh no, no,
duds.
no. Rental for me, because the rental was not bad.
Which
The
one's
one
the rental
produced
again?
by or the directorial debut of Dave Franco.
Mm,
That was better.
Jingle Jangle then.
Nah.
Ah well.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, so it was look, hang in there with us. We're gonna do a couple more movies we got coming soon.
Yeah,
Blair definitely came in with the surprising ratings on this one. So this was a good
yeah.
episode. Yeah, on that note, guys, it is a Slate Lace gang. We are out. See ya.